Now it's time for the Mangru Moment. Today I'd like to talk about Bernanke lecturing Americans on the need to reduce deficit. Bernanke authorized $4.6 trillion of money he didn't have to Wall Street banks and toxic mortgages. Even worse, according to SourceWatch.org, there's $14 trillion that the U.S. taxpayer is still on the hook for and at risk. And over the last 3 years, Bernanke has tripled the monetary base, which is essentially the overall amount of U.S. dollars printed. Now, Mr. Bernanke, you need to take a look in the mirror. Here you are warning Americans to solve a problem that in large part you helped create. Americans were in large part against the Wall Street bailouts and the massive increases in government spending. The majority of Americans were against the trillion-dollar government takeover of health care. Yet Bernanke and his pals Obama and Tim Geithner, they still endure. What Bernanke should really say is that 2010 is an election year and he has to talk tough on deficits to please his new bosses, the Democrats. He should say that this is merely political posturing from someone who is supposed to be an apolitical type person. But truth be told, both Democrats and Republicans have been running up deficits for years. I mean, look at all the deficits ran up by George W. Bush. But Bernanke should look in the mirror first before he starts to lecture hardworking, tax-paying Americans about fiscal responsibility. That's a wrap for today's show. I'd like to thank our distinguished guests and our panel. And I'd like to invite you to join us next week. You can watch us every Saturday and Sunday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Fox Business Network, where we'll be joined by guests such as John Bogle, the founder of the Vanguard Group. Signing off for the Mangru Report, I'm Dan Mangru, wishing you a good night and Godspeed.